Alright, so the story for Les Mis follows a character named Jean Valjean, who is played, of course, by Hugh Jackman. And in the beginning of the film, he is a prisoner. He is a prisoner. He's been a prisoner for the last 19 years of his life, and he's actually just getting off. He's actually going to go on parole, and he's going to be a free man for the most part. He's still going to be on parole, but, you know, he could still do stuff. So he leaves, but before he leaves, he meets up with Russell Crowe's character, Javert, who is going to be his parole officer. If he breaks parole, this man's going to do a Liam Neeson and find him and kill him. Well, he's not going to kill him, but he's going to take him back. He's going to be a prisoner for the rest of his life. And he decides, Jean Valjean, you know what? I'm going to break parole. I'm going to assume a different identity. I'm going to move somewhere else, and I'm going to start a brand new life. I'm going to do that, and he does. And then that's really where the movie starts, because of course now he meets up with Russell Crowe again, but Russell Crowe can't remember what he looks like, and there's a whole like thing about him, you know, running away with from Russell Crowe. But that's not really the entire story here. The rest of the story is really about Fontaine, who's played by Anne Hathaway. And the thing is, she's not in the movie all that much, but her character really leaves a mark because she has a child. And the thing is that she's very poor. She doesn't have any money, so she's working at Jean Valjean's warehouse, and she gets fired by one of the workers there, and she decides, all right, fine, I'm gonna go to prostitution and pay for my daughter to stay at this place that she's at. And she does, and one day she meets up with a client that really doesn't, that really wants her bad, and she fights him off, and of course she's about to go to jail because of that. But then Jean Valjean, you know, comes in and says, you know what, I'll protect you, I'll help you out, I'll bring you to the hospital, you don't look good, you look like you're sick, I'm gonna go and help your daughter because, you know, I feel bad because you used to work at my warehouse and I didn't know you were even fired, I'm gonna go help you out. And right after that, he finds the daughter, he takes care of her, and the rest of the movie is really him protecting this girl, also running away from Russell Crowe's character because he's going to, of course, take him back to jail. And later on in the film, it's about like a whole French resistance too later on in the film, which I won't even really spoil that much of. And it's really, there's a lot of story in here for a musical because everything is told in music. I mean, there's like little parts here and there where someone will say something that's not supposed to be musical, like grab that or do this, but for the most part everything else is opera style musical where it's just non-stop singing. Everything is song, and really some people will get annoyed at that. I thought it was great here, especially since everybody can sing in this, and everybody is a fantastic actor. Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean, I fell for him, I really did. All he was doing, the reason why he was in jail is because he stole bread for his niece. That's it. He just stole bread for his niece because she was really sick and she needed something to eat, and he stole a little bit of bread, and he got thrown in jail for 19 years because of that. So you really do care for this guy, especially when he starts taking care of Fontaine's little girl, and he's amazing in this. I love him, and he's great. He's a great singer. So good. Russell Crowe? Surprised the hell out of me. He's actually a really good singer, and he does have his own little moments where he sings to himself, and that's the only person you hear to sing, that sings for a few minutes, and he's really good. I really liked him. I don't know, he has a distinct voice too, which is weird because he has that very gravelly voice, but when he sings sings like this. You know, I don't know. He sings a little higher pitched than he usually talks, and he's great in this. Anne Hathaway, amazing in this film. Absolutely amazing. They're saying she might get a Best Supporting Actress. Completely agree. She's amazing in this for someone that's only in it for about 15 minutes. She is phenomenal. They're going to go rush out to go see Les Mis right now, if you heard that car. And she is so good in this film. She's so amazing. And there's a whole scene where she sings I Dreamed a Dream, which is like the most popular song of this entire musical. And people are saying that's the definitive way to sing it now. Anne Hathaway, she took it, she made it her own, and she did a fantastic job with that song alone. But everything else, her performance-wise, everything, her emoting, fantastic. The rest of that cast did an amazing job as well. You have Eddie Redmayne, who is fantastic here as well. Great singer, really like him. Ooh, damn. Seen him in other movies, and he's great. Yeah, the rest of the supporting cast does a great job as well. Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter's in the film, and they're both great in this. They're more the comedy relief, but they sing sometimes, and they're pretty good at it too. And Samantha Barks, who I haven't seen before, I think she was in the actual Les Mis musical before, but she's in here. She plays the daughter of Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter, and she's great as well. She's a fantastic singer, and you really feel for all these characters, especially for her. And Yeah, the acting's great. The story's just phenomenal all the way. You really do care for these characters, and you really there's parts where I teared up a little bit because it's not a very happy movie. It's called The Miserables for a reason. People are miserable. So, yeah, it's pretty sad at times. Let me just say there's plenty of songs in this film because it is 2.5 hours long, and if my theater's seats weren't so uncomfortable and if I didn't have to stretch my neck up like this to see the screen because the theater was packed and I could only get the really crappy seats, then I would have loved this experience all the way. I would have never checked my watch, but because I was very uncomfortable, I had to check my watch a couple times, which of course I mean my cell phone, and you know, that's the only reason why I checked my phone. If I didn't have that uncomfortable seat, if I was comfortable, I had my drink and all that, then I would have just went by this movie completely, just 2.5 hours. That would have felt like an hour and a half for me because I was so entranced in the story and how well told it was for a musical. Everything's musical, and they tell it so well in this. You really do give a damn about these characters, and the music is just so well done. It's very energetic, like I said, and it's very catchy at times, very dramatic. The ending, I'm sorry, I started to tear up a little bit because it's a little cheesy to some, but me, I was just like, wow, tear. And I was so blown away by this film. Some reviews have said it's a little bombastic, a little too loud at times, a little too insane. Sometimes you can't hear what some of the characters are saying because their singing is a little too loud or a little too low or something, and they sing way too fast at times. I'll give you that, but for the most part, I completely understood what was going on, and I loved it every second of the way. I'm going to give this film, see, I should give it a couple points less because of that, but it's one of my favorite movies of this year. I don't give a damn. I love musicals, and this is probably my favorite musical of all time. That's what I said. I said it, I don't care. I'm going to give it a 40 out of 40. I gave so many movies that this year, but this is the last one I'm reviewing for this year, and that's my last 40 out of 40. Perfect score doesn't actually mean it's perfect, of course, but I'm going to give it anyway, a 10 out of 10. I gave it like 7 movies that this year, but I'm sorry. I love this year in movies. This is probably one of the best years in movies, and Les Mis just ended it off perfectly for me. There you go, Les Mis. Definitely go check it out. If you don't, you're dumb. You're dumb. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, and goodbye.